Joining me now on this episode of Locally Sourced CP is owner baker Mr. Jorge Vazquez of Raiz Bakery. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having me. And finally, we're getting to do this after some miscommunication
Ah, man, no,
on
I
and off.
appreciate you. You are the busy one, man. I've met you guys out at Upper Valley, the Upper Valley Market on the west side. There's a Upper Valley Farmers Market, right? Is that what it's called?
No, I think they switched it over to artist market.
Oh,
And I think they're trying to slowly get some farmers, local farmers in there. So that's why I think they kind of rebranded a bit.
oh, cool. Oh, cool.
I could be wrong. I don't want to speak on their behalf, but
Yeah,
you know,
I'll put the link in the below so everyone can find it. But no, I mean,
oh,
I
nice.
met you guys out there. I mean, the first time walked up to you guys, there was a huge line, which there always is every time I gone. I mean, it's crazy. You guys are high demand on Sundays when you guys are there. But I mean, first, Jorge, if you can talk a little bit, how did you get started in I guess, the bakery business, or how did you get started doing this?
To be funny, well, I mean, to be honest, and a little funny, the story behind it, didn't want anything to do with breads or pastries, when I started my career, in culinary. I actually started at, about 15, 16 years of age with this little, um, you know, um, ignition of a fire to go into cooking.
Hmm.
So that's where I kind of, I started cooking. I went to culinary early on in high school, and then from there, I did EPCC. But between, two jobs and school, I kind of burned out relatively quickly.
Oh,
And two kitchens, three, same thing, repetition, cooking, setup, cleaning, for many years. I would say anything for like that from when I was like 18 up until I was, 21, 22. So as you can imagine, I got kind of burned out, but the passion for food was still there. So, I was like, well, I'm gonna give, the pastry side, a chance. And I quickly picked up on it. It was a different hustle, the kind of same instilled things, where you need to be aware that there's food safety, that you have a timing and a consciousness of the quality of the product still there. So it was something really intriguing for me that I kind of got onto, and
mhm.
then from there I just kind of continued it um,
Oh, that's cool.
for a while. Yeah.
Now that's cool that like you got like kind of got burned out and then got back into it. That's kind of really neat.
Yeah, and for a while, like between my career field and this new path I was on bread, I was kind of back and forth between savory and pastry, and I think that's I'm still trying to instill that into what I do today, even though I do breads and pastries. Every now and then I'll do a savory pastry, to kind of show that I still have that background of a culinarian,
Yeah.
side, and put it out there,
No, dude, I've seen like, dude, just walking by like the when you have the pastries just on display, that it makes people do the U-turn to get back in line, that long line, just to see if they can get it. Because I know if you sleep on it, you're gonna miss out, and you guys sell out pretty quick in a lot of your stuff. Because you guys
We
make
do.
your guys' stuff is so it looks so. I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to try any because every time I've gone too late. Uh, but I mean, it looks amazing, and these people like the line is incredible. Talk a little bit about what is some of the stuff you make, and then talk a little bit about maybe some of the more popular stuff that like I guess is high demand.
Okay. So I think we do a little bit. I try to do my of everything. I try to do a little bit of everything, and I've seen other bakers, or micro bakers or cottage bakers that only necessarily focus on one thing,
Mhm.
whether it be like the sourdough or just the pastries. So I kind of encompass all that as a whole. So I have sourdough that I go hard on, because I do appreciate a good artisan bread sourdough. Not necessarily because it's trendy, because it's it's just good. It's very it's very nutritious. It's very gut friendly. Um, and I think everyone should, should try it. There's a lot of people that, opposed to it because of the tanginess and stuff like that. But, if you know what you're doing, then you can kind of tone it down on the sourness per se. But I believe, I have about 3 or 4 sourdoughs that I sell. But on top of that, I do also want to have, a nice variety of other breads that aren't necessarily sourdoughs for those people that don't really like it. So aside from like those three different sourdoughs, I have a plain, a rosemary garlic,
Ooh.
I have a cranberry walnut. I have one that's always like seasonal rotation. I think right now I have a toasted sesame, which has like polenta, wheat, and then encrusted outside is the sesame itself. And then aside from that, that's not sourdough. I do have like a jalapeno cheddar as well, a focaccia, which is nice and spongy. And I always get asked, well, what can I do with it? And it's just like, I mean, for me, it'd be, I jump on the, pasta salads, crostinis, or just go ahead and tear it apart and dip it on some olive oil and just, a little salt and just eat it. And our most popular is the rosemary garlic, and then just recently a cranberry walnut. A cranberry walnut's like kind of making a comeback per se.
Oh wow.
Which was really neat because I was making, only a few, and now I'm gonna have to, upscale it because they're high on
Way
demand.
more.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, there goes, I have my work cut out for me.
And
So,
then just for the record, I'll take one of each. Thank
of course, yeah, and I'll
you.
have that. We're like, are you sure? And it's funny when you mentioned back, like, there's a line and people kind of hesitant, or they do go ask like, oh, we'll be back, and we've kind of learned, as in the vendors behind the scenes, we're just like, we've heard that before, and
Yeah.
when you do come back, it's gonna be sold out.
Yeah.
And that's normally the case. They come back like, oh, it's already gone. It's like, yeah, it's fresh baked bread, and it's gone. That's what people enjoy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying to set the standard because it's the bread and the pastries we do are baked the same day.
Ooh.
So I lose because we're relatively a small, functioning.
That's why it smells so good in that corner you guys are in, man.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you guys cooked it that night before.
yeah, no. So nothing. I mean,
Oh man.
I wake up at 1, let's say 12 midnight, 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that way I can start firing the ovens. So that way I can start proofing my pastries. And then after that, it's just like go, go, go. There's nothing that's been baked the day before, because everything I take is, it's fresh. I'd like for people when they get it, they encompass, crispy croissant,
Yeah.
a nice, whole sourdough, like not crispy, but like the crust of the sourdough. Our baguettes are really amazing as well. We have people that just buy one and then come back for another one because they finished it on the way, to another vendor. So yeah, it's really neat.
Oh, that's cool, man. I'm not kidding. Like, quite a few times I passed by you guys, and like, I'll be honest, we didn't get in line because it was really long, like crazy long, like Disneyland
Yeah.
new ride long. That's how long, and that's like every time you guys are out there that we've gone. It smells so good.
Well, thank you.
I totally regret not just waiting in the Disneyland line. So, but like I said, even the displays, the ones you guys have in the cases when you walk by, everything looks so good, and then plus it smells so good too. Like if what are your advice for people that want to come to get something? Like how early should they come? And should they just go ahead and just buy as many as they can? Do you guys have a limit when you guys are doing that, or how does that work?
Uh,
What is the etiquette?
so the etiquette, we're still kind of working on that, but for the time being, we're it's a first come first basis. For our vendors, sometimes they ask us, can you hold this or that for them? And we understand because they're by themselves. So
Mhm.
we do that for them, and because we appreciate other vendors that help us out sometimes set up because, like I mentioned, everything's fresh, so sometimes we're a little bit late to the market.
Mhm.
So there's a few that help us out. So, we're always thankful to other vendors when we're out and about at the market. And, believe it or not, while we're setting up, there's people already waiting for us, So the etiquette for that is just like get there early. And then, people have taken that to heart and they've started lining up early, as we're setting up. So, I think that's, it's very humbling, and without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, which is that, bake, and I love to bake. Um, and and yeah, I mean, thank you all. If anyone sees this, thank you all. I can't
Yeah, no,
emphasize
man.
it enough.
That's so cool, especially like you being having the passion for it, and just like and just seeing the response from El Paso and everyone that goes to the markets that you guys are at. It's just so cool, like to be able to meet you and actually have you on and talk about your passion, and I could just see it, like especially when you talk about how what the breads you make, and then and you being like the way you are when you see the line and things like that. It's just so cool to, and I can't thank you enough for coming on my show and talking about your passion.
No, no, no. Like I said, I think it was already due, I guess, to kind of make an appearance per se, because we started this in 21, and it's just been mainly what we do, and if you're out and about in the market, that's when the conversations lighten up, what what I'm passionate about, what are you consuming, or what to do with certain breads or stuff like that. So
Right.
so I was excited, so this is my first time ever doing something like this.
Woo.
So I appreciate it, for bringing me on.
No, I
Uh,
appreciate you coming on, man. The thing I want to ask too is like, do you guys ever cater? Do you guys ever like take orders to like maybe like if someone wants to do a party or something? Do you guys do stuff like that? I apologize for not asking you ahead of time about this
oh no,
question,
no.
but
Uh, we've done a few, yes. But we're to be honest, we're like between a rock and a hard place, because we don't know where we actually fit. Aside from we have a busy schedule. It takes sourdough alone, and most of our pastries take 2 to 3 days to make.
yeah,
So especially now that we're doing Saturday and Sunday markets, it's our prep usually starts lightly Wednesday, and then goes heavy Thursday up until we're at the market. So
right,
um, if it's something within a good time frame, then I always I always, so let's go for it, let's do it. Um, but if not, it's usually we've already got the market going on. And if you
right,
like, we can do a little more for you or something like that. I We're still trying to find our footing. It's only been like I said, since 21. We've only just started this line about a year and a half ago.
yeah,
And we're still trying to figure it out, because we do get response. We're like, well, we're gonna have more, or do you have some caterings throughout the week? And it's just like, well, we're trying to balance the work life, and then our home life, with our girls.
yeah. And
So
that
it's
and that's important too. That's way more important than anything too.
yeah, and you're right, because I and I've been very grateful to be able to do this, from where I'm at, because head on, when I started this, I didn't want to lose myself into just running this business. Because family was very important, hence the name Raiz. Raiz is not just something like I picked out of a hat. Raiz means roots in English, which I'm born and raised in El Paso. So I'm setting my roots here,
Yeah,
and trying to instill that on my girls as well. Hopefully they like, they see me and they enjoy what I do. They'd like to take that mantle. But if not, maybe there's other people that have that same passion, that maybe in the future we can interlink and help them grow. Put their roots down too.
yeah, no, and I'll do whatever I can to help you guys, and it just I'm gonna have to tell my wife that we're gonna have to go really early to the market when you guys are out there, and I'll
Yeah, I
be.
know.
The only thing though is that I'll be the only one that can eat it because my wife she can't have gluten. So haha.
Oh no, not even gluten, not even sourdough.
I don't know, like how sourdough excuse me, is sourdough, does it have wheat in it or?
So it does have wheat, but because of the lactobacteria that it has, because it's fermented,
Mhm.
um, it- people are more susceptible to accept it in their stomach and eat
Yeah,
it, without them having
yeah,
any issues.
yeah, because she
Um,
doesn't have celiac, she just has a sensitivity.
okay, then yeah, then I would say try a little bit, see how you react to it.
Yeah.
And then if it's something that it still reacts, then I would say don't do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, because and that's that brings me to another point, because I don't know if you were gonna mention, like, in the long run, we wanna, would like, between me and my wife, because she's part of this too, we want to reach out, local farms, that are trying to grow their own, their own wheat,
Yeah.
and which is a lot more nutritious than, a lot of the stuff that we get on store.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I think I believe 90% of the flour or wheat that the world eats off of is grown here, in the U.S. But it's non-organic. It's made, it's with I believe, I can't recall. Well, they're not pesticides, but it's called a dwarf wheat
Right.
because they make it so fast. They genetically modify it in order to grow it. That's what I'm saying. So that's why we have a lot of people that like celiac and gluten sensitivity. Because we're mass producing it at an unnormal rate.
Right.
So I think in the long run, our vision is to also pair up, with local farmers. Our next door, New Mexico, I was reading that they started back an agricultural small community in order to grow, wheat, wheat corn, organically, and bring some of those heirloom, well, not heirloom, but also those hearth wheat, I believe they're called,
Yeah.
or the type of variety. But I've yet to reach back on that. Right now, we're focused on trying to get the markets,
Yeah. No,
going.
for sure. You gotta do what you gotta do. Take a step at a time, man. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. You got the plan. You got the routine already right now. So keep to it.
Uh,
No,
yeah,
but
I've had to slow myself down, and the wife helps me out because I have so many ideas, and it's, at some point I was like, I think I have like ADHD because I'm constantly going, well, what do we do this? What do we do that? I think the last year we had about different, more than like 30 different pastries we did within the year.
yeah.
It's just like, hey, we gotta have, we gotta slow it down because we can't keep up with it. I mean, it's one thing to do it creatively, but to also, do it as a business. I think that's
Yeah.
also important.
See, where would we be without them, you know?
Yeah, I know. She's my rock, so
Same,
I
same
don't
here,
know what I
man.
do. You know.
So you guys are doing maybe doing Saturdays and Sunday markets. If you guys are on social media, you guys are on Instagram, correct? That way people can follow you and find out where you guys are
Yeah,
at.
yeah, we're on Instagram and Facebook, but I believe we're more active on Instagram, than we're on Facebook. But don't take it to heart. We answer back, eventually on Facebook.
Yeah, no, you guys are so busy, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll of course make sure I'll include all the information description below. That way people can get in contact with you, follow you guys, make sure they know where you're gonna be at so they can be in line early and not miss out on the goodness.
On the goodness, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, so I mean, Jorge, I mean, is there anything else you'd like to say or add before we end today?
Once again, I just want to thank everyone, that's seeing this, that has gone and supported us. Actually, this weekend we're gonna have a collaboration with Michael and Kristen at the El Paso Frame Company,
Oh,
from 12 to 4. So that's kind of neat. That's something we haven't done before, as a pop up. They're gonna be showcasing some art there with some Kristen, I believe she's gonna do some cactus, some actual cactus, and then I think there's gonna be paintings also as well. And then there's gonna be a DJ, and we're gonna be there selling our pastries. So, so don't miss out.
no, sounds good, man. If anything, make sure if anything else, if anyone's watching this after from this weekend, let's make sure you follow Raiz Bakery on Instagram and Facebook. Again, information description below. And Jorge, I appreciate you joining me today and coming on and talking about your passion and the awesomeness and the goodness.
Thank you. No, thank you for the opportunity to do so, and I appreciate it very much.